Don't assume. Don't ever assume or make a judgment of what somebody else needs or doesn't need. One of the best lessons I ever got was when I was 23, and it was the 1 year that I worked for somebody else. And there was this really smart, driven, successful entrepreneur. And there was 5 of us working in a startup. And we were actually working in a company that wasn't working out, which is a really valuable lesson. And we were doing sales to new businesses, selling different products to them. And I was on the phone with this one individual, and it just seemed like they weren't going to want our product or service or didn't have the money for it, so I didn't ask for the sale. And the owner of this company, who every day listened to every single call I made, and was just a couple years older than me, right? I was 23 at the time, and he was 29. He ripped me a new one like you wouldn't believe. Like I had just called his grandmother and cursed her out. And he said, Jason, you don't ever assume what the customer needs or doesn't need. You ask for the sale every time, and you leave the judgment to them, whether they want the product or service or not. And he made me get back on the phone right afterwards and ask that customer if they wanted our product or service. And that customer that I was sure didn't want our product or service. They still didn't want the product or service. They didn't buy. But in the subsequent conversations where I thought people didn't want the product or service and I forced myself to ask, they did buy. Don't assume the things that people want or don't want, that they have money for or that they don't have money for. You offer your value. You offer up your value proposition and let the other person make a decision for themselves. It's manipulators who make decisions for other people's. It's persuaders who let people make the choice for themselves.